All right, I'm going to keep the shilling really minimal. Just please try to support this channel and please give my other channels a chance, especially well, it'll be more than the Buffy channel, but especially the Buffy channel. I already got some things there. I'm just waiting for the algorithm to, work through it, and I'll put some bonus content up there real soon. And I don't like to moralize because you're a YouTuber looking for money, so you know, really, you've got limited ground to stand upon. However, and again, I'm not particularly disappointed that a certain video or other video didn't get traction. You guys got to pick what you want to pick. However, I do have to look at the numbers, and even some good videos get roughly 10% or more of the subscribers. So clearly, a certain amount of subscribers are simply not looking even at the videos because I'm not covering what they want covered. So I've got to try to diversify the audience. So apologies to some old subscribers, but that's just a necessity. And that brings us to two main topics, but really it's the first one, which is Tommy Scoville, which I'm a little not clear how to approach this. I mean, there's the obvious approach, which I've taken of the sheer hypocrisy, but I'm head scratching as to the lunacy of what he's up to. So it might seem that I'm just trying to force you guys to consume things that are not related. Oh no, they're related, but I'm still puzzled as to how Scoville, with his cringe politics and stupidity, can think he's being consistent. But let's get to it. So one of the major bugbears that Candace Owen has been attacking is Israel. A lot of people on the left, and I identify more on the left than the right, but some people on the left just really keep mischaracterizing her and misquoting her and not really representing what she's really doing and saying. Now, granted, it is fairly extreme, and I don't like the point of view that she's articulating, which is very Christian nationalist, which I don't identify with. However, can't really dispute the main thesis. And again, she's been careful not to throw outright out there. I mean, maybe again she'll change by the latest video, but she's just asking questions about the Charlie Kirk murder and that given consensus that it's this lone shooter, it's someone on the left, it's some kind of trans shooter, is not correct. And she suspects the Israelis had a much bigger role and the government is actively covering it up. And she's been showing receipt after receipt that Charlie was stepping away from his pro Israeli position that he articulated in his early years and was becoming more and more critical of these policies. So you put two and two together that the Israelis were getting nervous and perhaps decided he's becoming a liability and authorized his assassination. I still think that's not likely. However, power politics is a very brutal business, and this is a state notorious for assassinating political opponents. So they have the capability, they might have the motivation. So it does seem likely. But it's very funny that even the right wing people are getting angry that Candace is supposedly creating a civil war and splitting those good MAGA Republicans who used to just be very unified with Trump and Israel, and it's all falling apart. Uh, and to give Candace a lot of points, a few months ago, she did step away from MAGA saying, well, Trump is not delivering on his messages. He's not delivering on his promises. So I'm leaving. I'm not getting what I voted for. And that's the end of it. And even if you do like the Daily Wire, where she used to work at, and I don't, um, you can sort of be like, okay, well, that's the Daily Wire politics. But they also do try to put out films and their own, quote, original programming. Yeah, I've already sampled some of that. It's really bad and lousy. But I will be fair and try to look more at the Daily Wire. Like they do have a fantasy series that looks good and might have some potential. Although, again, even if you want to be super generous, they're doing something that's very deceptive. And to put it mildly, I think that's kind of good news, frankly, because I don't have too many high expectations for the Marlon or the basically knockoff Game of Thrones they're trying to do. Because it's like, wow, that's just sad. That's just sad. Okay, but now let's get to the main event, which you guys probably want to hear more about, which is Tommy Scoville. And I'm a little torn. So some people are saying that the Love Boat, Lifeboat, like Nora, he keeps reframing it. So what is it today? It's a boat something. Scoville is declining. Well, again, I hope I can at least get consistent views by trying to be honest, even if it's not comfortable for you guys. So I actually at this point don't know. So, being such a notorious grifter and being exposed over the last half year, he's lost a lot of views and he's lost a lot of subscribers. He used to have thousands more subscribing and thousands have left. However, you know, it's painful, but apparently about 100 or so people have come back or new people have been tricked into signing up to the Scovilles. So the channel was declining well below 25,000 subscribers. It was at 24,000, but now it's at 24.1. So at least 100 people, or nearly 100 people, have subscribed to the Lifeboat Love Boat. But why? Well, that's what's curious because Scoville does make videos, especially the P. Diddy videos, that have some traction. But God bless him, and this goes back to Candace, he is being very open now about his politics. It wasn't like he was hiding it before, but now he's very clear that, yes, I'm a Trump person. I love MAGA. I love my MAGAs. I love my Trump. Okay, well, again, I don't discount people just because of their political viewpoint. That's why I cited Candace. I do agree with Candace on many things, even if politically and ideologically, I think she's questionable on many things. But again, if she can provide pretty strong evidence and pretty strong arguments, then, well, you know, she presented a good case. I have to agree with her, whether I like her or not. Scoville is almost the diametric complete opposite, but he just goes in full bore with cognitive biases, doesn't really substantiate what the hell he's saying. In fact, he admitted quite openly saying, I don't really know what I'm saying here. I don't even know if it's true. I just want to believe it's true. And let's just jump the hurdle here. I'll get to the main hypocrisy, which is I cannot, I don't even know how he does this. So he has a video called, so the video is called, Are We Going to War? And I just noticed that his at is at the lifeboat, even though we're going with the love boat for something. Okay, whatever. So one of the rules, and I am not joking with you guys, if you click on the more, he literally still has. How is this possible? There are the four simple rules here on the lifeboat, in the comments and in the live chat. One, we don't discuss politics. Period. Ever. Period. Oh, and number two, and I'm not going to focus on number two, to be fair to him. This is not a religious page, and while you might hear people say God bless, or I'm going to pray for you, or I won't have gotten yada yada, what's not fine is my God is better than your God, yada yada yada. Even though he's wearing cross on his neck. Radio, radio. So Scoville is discussing the recent Venezuelan crisis where Trump allegedly committed war crimes. We're going to wait if he actually did, but he's defending the policy anyway, saying, even if we did, it's good. We got to kill them narcos. Now, you see, for those tuning in, totally new, Scoville was, and again, YouTube forces me to say this, I don't know if he's currently, although there's strong reasons to think he is, uh, he was a former drug dealer, drug user. Is he currently doing these things? Well, suspicious people say he is. I'll just say the suspicious people tend to, well, have gotten it right with this guy, but I don't know for a fact if he is taking drugs or dealing drugs. So we've got someone with a lifelong history of drugs now moralizing that, yeah, kill them drug dealers, they're bads. Is he going to return to the U.S. to be executed? No, no, you killed those drug dealers, not me, for reasons.
This epidemic of people dying in our country from drug overdose, something had to be done about it. And whether you like this or not, something is being done about this. And it's spreading. The people of Mexico are in revolt right now against their government because it's a narco state. Now, I'm not dumb enough. I used to be. But I'm not dumb enough to believe that we don't have the CIA on the ground there firing those people up, right? Doing everything they can to add a little bit of cash.
I swear to God, I did not know he was going to swerve in that way. So we went from pro Trump, it's okay to kill drug dealers today, but not magically in the 80s and 90s when he was actively a criminal. Right. And then we move into the CIA, and which is true, there are a lot of protests in Mexico. There's always a lot of protests in Mexico. If you study anything with Latin American history, you know protests are just part of that history. So he didn't really say anything, but it's like, first, how is any of this compatible with the first rule? You're clearly discussing politics. So I guess when he's MAGA, that's not political. That's just common sense. So it's not even political, even when he makes political points. Right. Okay. But then there's the substance. So you're believing all these CIA conspiracies. Well, if you really think this, where to even put this together? But there's a long history of the CIA intervening in Latin America and, to put it mildly, murdering people, torturing people, as well as getting rid of and installing governments. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm for that. I'm okay with that." Okay. Well, there's a word for that. It's called imperialism. So it's just like mind-boggling what path we're going down upon. But I'm just gonna put aside even the politics here. Okay, so this is getting about 400 views. Again, I'm not here to brag about myself, but sometimes I get videos that do get about 400 views, even though I have 10 times less the audience. Right? So you have still 24,000 plus subscribers. That is technically 10 times the amount of subscribers I have. So even his own audience, it's only a small part of the audience that really responds to this material. So I am just puzzled as to where we're going with the lifeboat. I guess it is going to transform more and more into a MAGA channel. And listen, for some people, it's worked out. Like Candace was very MAGA for a while. She's gotten to 5 million subscribers. But Scoville has not. But I guess he wants to believe that he's being some self righteous truth warrior and will no longer hide his love of Trump and that this is the way forward. I just find it shocking that he thinks he's on the side of the right side of history. That the Mexican people in revolt against those narcos. Yeah, you know who helped make the narco state a narco state? You. Like it's astonishing that the person cannot take responsibility. Yes, I was helping transport the drugs, but magically someone else is responsible for turning Mexico into a living hell. Who are these mysterious people? I don't know. Not him. But then you ask, well, how did it get like this? Because people like Scoville were being really vicious criminals and not being caught. And when they were being caught, they got off with very light sentences. And now the same person is doing all these crocodile tears. So the lifeboat has become the love boat and is now the pro CIA boat. And but somehow magically, no politics allowed with Tommy Scoville. Astonishing.